In this episode, we take you on an adventure to Rhode Island where we purchase a 1987 Passport 51. We are joined by friends from J-Dock at Calvert Marina in Solomons, Maryland, who help us crew our new vessel from Narragansett Bay to our new home in Maryland. We traverse the Long Island Sound, travel past the Statue of Liberty, continue along the Atlantic coastline, and get really wet as we navigate the Delaware Bay. We continue through the C&D Canal and finally into the Chesapeake Bay and into the Patuxent River. It's not all sunshine. Actually, there wasn't much sunshine, but it was a hell of a ride.
So this is day one of the adventure for the new vessel.
You can see.
We're loaded, full. There's not even room for Dory.
Nope, I'll have to fly in on Friday.
But what are we doing?
He's going to Rhode Island to go buy our house, our floating house.
Got it all packed and ready so that way when we pull the trigger on this, I can unload it, and then hopefully next Friday we'll be provisioning for our trip to leave Rhode Island and come back to Solomons, Maryland.
I haven't even seen this boat yet. So Nick went and took a look at it and was like, this is the one. We put in our offer. He's driving to Rhode Island today, which is Sunday. Survey will be Monday and Tuesday. Hopefully we'll close on Wednesday or Thursday. Me and two other crew fly in on Friday, and we sail her from Rhode Island to Maryland on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
Wish us luck.
All right, guys, just to give you an update, we're underway. We're traveling 8.7. We got about a knot of current with us helping us out, and we're kind of cruising just under 2,000 RPM. And we've got the moon out coming across the back there. Those lights over there, that's Block Island. And we got our auto helm on. Finally on our way. We're out in the Atlantic right now, headed towards Long Island Sound. We got our AISs up and running, and so we're sending, receiving, we're getting our warnings when we got ships nearby. Dory's been at the helm for a little bit this evening. She went under one of the bridges coming out of Narragansett Bay, and we made our way into the channel and made our way down the river into the bay. and now we're out in the Atlantic. So we're trucking along. So
Narragansett Bay Marina, Narragansett Bay Marina, Narragansett Bay Marina. This is further over.
Oh, hey, this sailing vessel further. We tried hailing you on 16. We're coming in to get fuel from the dock.
The dock is pretty open. You should be good to go in.
This is Hell's Gate.
I was wondering if that's what this was. I was seeing all the churn of the water.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're doing 12-1 right now.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Hold
I'm
on,
going to hold
hold on.
on. So the boys are tightening up a shroud. Engine's off. We're sailing. Heeling at times up to 20. It keeps kind of going back and forth, but we're getting up to 20. We're almost to Cape May. But this lower shroud was very loose, so they're tightening it up. This is Nick and Captain Jake. Looks like they pulled the pin. We've got the throw-up bucket here in the cockpit because both Rich and I have been quite seasick. Right now we're going 8 knots. That's with a double reefed main and the stay sail out.
Hey, Dan, can you grab me a flathead screwdriver?
Oh, looks like Dan's awake.
dry one's dry.
Oh. I bet Nick's not tethered, is he? I hope he is. I know he's got it on him. Okay.
He's wearing a tether.
I know he's wearing a tether.
This is
Whether
classic
it's...
construction work, right? Four guys watching one guy work. You're free. The pad eye on the block holding up the on the support for the block, the double block that's there. The pad eye welded to it. Right about now, he's thinking, "Man, I wish this was a snap shackle." One new dangerous AIS target. But which one? And it's only going to get breezier once we get into the bay, because that's going to flow. Where now we got a little leaf.
So I just laid on it, my freaking body, to hold it, and it's still jerking me up.
Right.
But we got it. All right, here we are, going into Cape May. Passing the main channel now. It's pretty rough out there. Gusting in the 30s. I got the staysail up, furled down to the first reef, mainsail in the second reef. Finding where all of our hatch leaks are. Try not to get thrown around. Some of these are a little bit bigger over here.
Delaware Bay was the most challenging part of the trip, and it was the least filmed and photographed. We entered the bay around noon, and the wind was consistently blowing at 20 knots from the west-northwest, with gusts topping 30 knots. The wind was right on our nose, and it proved to be faster for us to motor sail, tacking back and forth across the bay rather than motor sail straight into the wind. The tremendous amount of water being shoveled over the bow of the boat revealed we had some severe leaks in our hatches. I am not even joking when I say that at times it seemed like it was raining on the inside of our brand new to us boat. Every time we'd tack, the water would run down the counters into the floor. Our bilge pump was working overtime. At one point, in the middle of this deluge from the waves, I went down below and smelled something funny, something smoldering. I saw there was a cell phone plugged into a wall outlet that was starting to smoke. I called for Nick and tried to quickly unplug the cell phone, receiving an electrical jolt in the process. I was okay, but it still scared me. Nick knocked the cell phone charger clear of the outlet, and we just felt a bit of overwhelm about the situation we were in. The high we had felt on buying our forever boat just 48 hours earlier was beginning to feel more like overwhelm as we assessed the soggy, wet electrical mess we now had on our hands. As we sailed, Nick, Dan, and Captain Jake bore the brunt of the hard work. There were so many shallow shoals that we had to avoid while tacking up the bay. In addition, we were crossing back and forth across a shipping lane with huge boats in the channel. This proved extremely harrowing after dark. The waves knocked the cover off our navigation light, extinguishing the running lights on the bow, leaving us with only our steaming light on the mast and our stern light. For safety, we broadcast security messages every half hour on Channel 16 to ensure boats in the area were aware of our presence due to our missing bow light. As we neared the headwaters of the bay, we were having to tack as often as every 15 minutes to avoid the shallows, and the lights from the shore, the ships, and the channel markers were beginning to blur. It was really hard to tell the difference of which lights were from the shore and which lights were from the water. Everyone was completely exhausted, and Rich had been suffering severe seasickness for the last 24 hours. It was well after midnight before we got to the C&D Canal. Once we were in the calm of the canal, Rich took the helm, and we were in for one more anxiety-producing event before reaching our anchorage in Chesapeake City. I was trying to convey the stress we just went through. Oh, with the engine dying right before going under these two bridges. Oh my goodness. Boating is not for the faint of heart. We were approaching these two bridges. Engine went out. We're on the C&D Canal. So Nick had to do a fuel filter swap really fast before we got to the bridges. All the while we had started to, of course, just drift with the current. Oh my goodness, he is amazing. I was a nervous Nelly, but he was amazing. Swapped out the fuel filter. Rich was behind the helm. Oh, man, holy cow. So now we're safely going underneath the bridge with an engine that's functional. All right, now back to getting this heater set up so we're not so cold. Holy cow, what a night.
My favorite moment was meeting all of you wonderful people.
I call bullshit.
Yeah.
Really? My favorite moment was gacking in a 5-gallon bucket, which I might add was the best purchase you did this week.
I'm glad someone, that's supposed to be for tools, but I'm glad we have
Oh, it was for tooling, all right.
instead of a puke or poop deck, we have a puke deck.
Rich, you and I both have the same favorite moment.
It's a nice enclosure too, so you can get your head through the
Oh, hold on a second. Please get this. You're not one of my
I think everybody's happier now. We said we're not going anywhere.
We arrived in Chesapeake City at 2 a.m. on Tuesday, November 11th. After a good night's sleep, we discussed it and decided to pause the voyage because once we exited the C&D Canal on the Chesapeake Bay side, the wind and waves awaited and we were all wore out. Dan's wife, Lori, came to our rescue. She drove the 2.5 hours from Solomons, Maryland to come pick us up. The van ride proved an excellent time to review some of our lessons learned on our 350 nautical mile trek from Rhode Island. Nick and I would resume the trip the following weekend to finish out the last 90 miles on our own when much better weather was in the forecast. first turn at the helm, I should have understood how autopilot worked. And another thing is, like, even when the engine died while it was on my shift, I didn't know the buttons, the 4 buttons. I wasn't sure which buttons to press to turn it on and off, and to just make it the noise stop and then to return it on. So just familiarization with the basic simple things. And especially that part with the autopilot, when I cut off that giant ship like right in front of, I feel like had I been using the autopilot, I would have been able to look around more and see what was going on, but I was concentrating so hard on just keeping the right compass heading manually. And so definitely once I learned the autopilot, it made it so much easier to look around and see my surroundings. Trying to get on the right compass path and did not look behind me, and they called me on the radio like, sailing vessel further, what are you doing? Like, you need to get out of the way. And I turned around, it's just this huge ship right behind us. It was quite terrifying. And then I didn't turn out of the way fast enough. Like, I was still subtly, because in my mind, that was another thing. I should have looked at charts before we left, because I had no idea how deep the water was. And so I was so focused on staying in the channel, not realizing there's plenty of depth outside of the channel. That's just for the big old ships. So I was so nervous to go too far out of the boat's way, thinking I was going to end up in shallow water when I had so much room. And so I was timid about turning when I needed to be very aggressive at getting the hell out of the way.